All right. This is a bit exciting for me, this lecture. I've never given it before. In fact, I only thought about it this past Shabbat. Um, I'm working on a new book. The book is called Don't F with the Jews. And the objective of the book is, first of all, the book is going to be going through the entire history of the Jewish people, bringing stories of heroism, of resistance, and what was the fate of our enemies as opposed to what was the fate of our friends. And the first chapter of the book is really going to lay the entire philosophical foundation for the book. What is Judaism? What is monotheism? And what is it that we stand for that people either love us for or hate us for? All right? And we'll start with the story of Abraham and Nimrod. And I actually want to start with not a Jewish text. This is an epic. It's called the Epic of Gilgamesh. This is the formative myth of ancient Mesopotamia that was lost for thousands of years and only rediscovered in the 18th century, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll see who this Gilgamesh character is. Then we'll compare it to Nimrod and the Midrashim on Nimrod in order to understand this environment that Abraham was born into and this ideology that he resisted. All right? So let's start. We're going to start with the Epic of Gilgamesh. He who saw the deep, the foundations of the world, who knew wisdom and understood all things, Gilgamesh, who traveled far, who restored the shrines after the flood. Gilgamesh is the first or second king in Mesopotamia after the flood, the resettling of Mesopotamia after the Great Flood. We're not really going to get into it over here, but part of this epic, he actually goes to seek out the survivor or the hero of the flood. 2/3 God and 1/3 man, his strength has no equal. Look upon the walls of Uruk. Uruk is Ur-Kasdim, is actually the city that Abraham came from. See the ramparts and the temples he built. No king was ever like him. He takes the young men for his service, and none can oppose his strength. The people cry to the gods, Gilgamesh is a wild bull loose among men. A king should be a shepherd, but he is a tyrant over his people. Gilgamesh said, I will go to the cedar forest. By the way, the symbolism in this epic is amazing. We'll speak about this the cedar forest soon. The dwelling of the God's servant, Humbaba. If I slay him, I shall make my name everlasting. He's on this the whole epic of Gilgamesh is his quest to find immortality. Enkidu is a friend of Gilgamesh. There's a lot of things that are being skipped here. I didn't bring the whole text, right? Enkidu spoke, the cedar forest is holy. Humbaba is appointed by Enlil. Enlil was one of the gods of Mesopotamia. Humbaba is his beast who's there guarding the cedar forest. But Gilgamesh answered, if a man lives, he must seek fame. I will face Humbaba and cut down the cedars. They stood at the edge of the cedar forest. The shade was deep, the silence heavy. The path was guarded. The mountain of cedar rose before them, forbidden to mankind. This is the realm of the gods. Humbaba came forth, his voice like thunder, his breath a storm of flame. He cried out, I am the servant of Enlil. I guard the sacred mountain. Why have you come to defy the decree of the gods? Gilgamesh struck him. Enkidu cried, finish him before the gods see. And together they slew Humbaba, the appointed guardian of the gods' realm. They felled the cedars, they cut them down, they destroyed the sacred trees. Does any of this sound familiar? We spoke about the destruction of trees in the previous class. They cut the wood, and the forest that the gods had guarded lay open before them. When Enlil heard of Humbaba's death, his anger was great. Ishtar, another Mesopotamian god, spoke to Anu, her father, give me the bull of heaven that I may punish Gilgamesh for rejecting me. The bull descended, it snored open pits of the earth. Every time it snored the big craters would open up in the earth. Gilgamesh and Enkidu seized it by the horns and stabbed it. The gods assembled. They have killed the bull of heaven. They have slain Humbaba. One of the two must die. So they decided upon Enkidu. Enkidu's death. I'm dead. I'm now moving forward. Shall I not die like Enkidu? This is Gilgamesh speaking. Fear has entered my heart. I must find Utnapishtim. Utnapishtim is the hero of the flood. We would refer to as Noah, the one who escaped death and learned the secret of eternal life. At last, he goes to Utnapishtim. There's a whole story over there. Interesting story. We're not going to get to all the symbolism over there too. But he comes back. At last, he returned to Uruk. He's failed. He looked upon the great walls he had built. See this, the work of Gilgamesh. It will stand forever. So Gilgamesh, he is the prototype king of Mesopotamia. He is a tyrant. He enslaves his people to build these huge walls and these huge cities, right? His ambition is to live forever. And how does he do that? In the end, is through his great building projects.
It sounds exactly like Lord of the Rings. You know,
this is maybe the first epic.
Obviously, I mean, look,
right?
Every epic, modern epic, is taken from biblical sources.
Well, this isn't biblical,
or stuff like this, yeah.
Right? But this is the formative myths of the ancient Mesopotamian empires. This is a description of their way of thinking. All right? Who is Gilgamesh? He is part God. He's 2/3 God, right? 2/3 divine and 1/3 human. He is above man. He's able to subject man, right? He makes his name everlasting. He seeks fame by hunting. He's the great hunter. Oh, I didn't bring that here. He's the great hunter. He is the great builder, right? And he is the one who defeats the gods. He's rebelling against the gods. All right? The cedar forest, why is that? I find that symbolism very, very interesting, right? It's the sacred mountain. What's the sacred mountain to us? Right? We have the sacred mountain where the temple is. Right? What's part of the, how do you call it? Part of our temple is called Ya'ara Devanon, the Lebanon forest of cedars, right? Where the cedars came to build the temple, right? This whole epic is describing Gilgamesh's rebellion against the god of the flood, right? His attempt to achieve immortality, living forever. And he does this by a tyrannical regime over the people to subject them to build cities and a tower in his name. All right? Now let's go. This is the environment that Avraham Avinu is born into. And this is the environment that Avraham Avinu is resisting. All right? Now let's go for a sec now to Perashat Noah. Right? It says V'chush yaladet Nimrod at the end of the first line, page 55. V'chush yaladet Nimrod, right? And Cush gave birth to Nimrod. Hu hechel lihiyot gibor ba'aretz, and he began being a hero, a gibor, a warrior in the land. Hu haya gibor sai, he was a great hunter lifnei Adonai, before God. Al ken ye'amar, and therefore people will say, ken Nimrod gibor sai lifnei Adonai, as someone was great will be as great as Nimrod, right? The great hunter before God. Vatehi reshit mamlachto Babel, right? And the beginning of his reign starts in Babylon. Ve'erech, ve'akad, ve'chalne, be'eretz Shinar, right? These are the state cities of ancient Sumer. Min ha'aretz ahi yasa Ashur, and from there he went on to Ashur, to Assyria. Vayiven et Nineveh, ve'et Rehovot Ir, ve'et Kala, right? And he built the cities of Nineveh, of Rehovot Ir, and of Kalach. Resen, and also Resen, which is between Nineveh and Kalach, hi ha'ira gedola. This is the big city of Resen. By the way, what's interesting is these tablets of the Epic of Gilgamesh was found in an excavated archive in Nineveh, when they excavated Nineveh. Okay, so we have this great hunter, this great builder. He's building up an empire. He's going around. He's a gibor side. We'll see also what that means in the Midrashim, in Jewish tradition. All right, and now let's go. Oh, sorry, I saved it. Page 59. Describing the state of Babel under Nimrod's rule. Vahikol haaretz safa achat, says the entire land is one language, udvarim ahadim, and a single words. What does that mean? Do you know two people who can agree on one statement? Vahi benos'am mikedem. And it came to pass as they were going from Kedem, they found this valley in the land of Sumer, Beres Shinar, Vayeshevu Sham, and they settled there. And they said to each other, Hava nil bena levenim, let's make a brick. We'll put it in the fire. Right? We'll take the mud and put it in the fire. And the brick it turned into stone. Right? And then they had stone bricks. And they said, let's build a city, and a tower. Right? And the head of the tower should reach the heavens. And we shall make for ourselves a name. Right? This is in case we shall spread out throughout the entire world. Right? By the way, basically this making a name for myself with these giant buildings was exported to the entire world afterwards. Right? V'yered Adonai lirot, and God came down to see et ha'ir v'et ha'migdal asher banu bnei ha'adam, to see the city and the tower that the sons of man made. V'yomer Adonai, and man said, Hen am echad v'safa echad lechulam, right? One language, one nation for everyone. וזה החינם לעשות, and that's what inspired them to do this. ועתה לא יתבשר מהם כל אשר יזמו לעשות. And right now, right, if we let them go, they'll be unstoppable. הבה נרדה, let's go down. ונבלה שם שפתם, and let's mix up their language. We'll see what that means. אשר לא ישמעו איש שפת רעהו. That one man cannot understand what another man is saying. ויפס אדוני אותם משם על פני כל הארץ, and he spread them out throughout the entire world. ויחדלו לבנות העיר. And then they stopped building that city. על כן קרא שמה בבל, and that's why they call it Babel, כי שם בלל אדוני שפת כל הארץ, because that's where he mixed up the language of the people. ומשם הפיסם אדוני על פני כל הארץ. And from there, he spread them out throughout the entire nation. All right? Now, it's very interesting the things that he says. What does that mean? Right? That the whole world, safa achat udvarim ahadim. And we can see in the Midrash, sorry, in the Targum of Yonatan, va'avat kol ara'a lishna hada, says the entire world was one language. Yonatan ben Uziel says, Lishna de Nimrod, says the language of Nimrod. Umimre dehu amar, and the statements, right? What Nimrod says, la yachal ish lahalok, nobody can disagree with. A singular language can only happen under tyranny, is when you're forced to speak a certain way. The reason there was one language was because you couldn't say anything that wasn't approved by Nimrod. He had his doctrines, and you are under Nimrod. Nimrod is your God, he is your king, and he is the king of Mesopotamia. I personally believe, first of all, that Nimrod isn't a name of a specific king. I think it's an archetype. Same way, say even it's like Pharaoh. Pharaoh, there was many pharaohs, right? It was the title of a king. Same way Avimelech. Avimelech wasn't the name of a king, it's the title of a king.
Like the original Mitzrayim?
This, which is actually, it's interesting because they actually came from Ham and not from how do you call it? From Shem, right? But this would be at least either in parallel or before the actual Mishnah, right? So Nimrod, I don't think is talking about a specific king, because, by the way, the cities that were built here couldn't have all been built by one person because they span hundreds of years between them. Nineveh was built much later than Babel. So when it says Nimrod built it, I think it's like saying Pharaoh built the pyramids. Which Pharaoh? Oh, well, one Pharaoh built this pyramid, another Pharaoh built this pyramid, right? That's what I think Nimrod is, but Nimrod isn't even the title of the kings. It's our derogatory term for the kings of Mesopotamia. Nimrod literally means let us rebel. And the Midrashim come to explain Nimrod as a rebeller against God. Or at least we see in the Epic of Gilgamesh, right? We'll say the one who established this ideology, this first king of Mesopotamia, he is the rebeller. He says, Hava, he says, let's do this. Let's make a name for ourselves. Who is ourselves? It's for me. You wanted to ask something?
No, like Nimrod, to have the power, he uses the Gadim for the Adam.
Sorry?
When Esau kills Nimrod.
We'll get to that. That's at the end. That's a Midrash.
Those governing, they were having the power from the head or something. I don't understand.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But if I don't mention it, remind me at the end. Okay? So this is the environment that Abraham grew up in. And this is the essence of what pagan belief is. What is monotheism? When Abraham comes, we'll see. You know what? Pirkei Derbi Eliezer. Amar Nimrod le'Avram. Ivdu la'esh. Nimrod comes and says, let's worship fire. Amar lo Avraham. Abraham responds to him, Umayim mechabim et ha'esh. Water can extinguish fire. Ivdu la'mayim. Why don't you worship water? He says, Amar lo Nimrod. Efo. Ivdu la'mayim. He says, you're right. Let's worship water. Amar lo Avram. Abraham says, "Ve'ananim nosim et hamayim." He says, but the clouds they move how do you call it? They move water from place to place. Ivdu la'ananim. He says, worship. Why don't you worship the clouds? Amar lo Nimrod. Therefore, ivdu la'ananim. He says, therefore, we shall worship the clouds. Amar lo Avram. Abraham says to him, "Veruach mefazeret et ha'anan." But the wind actually moves and spreads out the clouds. Ivdu laruach. Why don't you worship the wind? Amar lo Nimrod. Efo ivdu laruach. He says, yeah, you know what? You're right. Let's worship really the wind. Amar lo Avram. Right, Abraham says to him, "Ve'ha'adam omed bifnei haruach." Says, and man stands before wind. Right? He can control the spirit. Man is a powerful being. Ivdu Adam, worship man. Amar lo Nimrod. Nimrod said, En imadi el ha'esh. There is no one beside me that is more powerful other than fire. Bo nashlichacha. Let's throw you in the fire. First of all, what do we see here? It says, pagan ideology is about controlling the forces of nature. It's not, I'm here part of God's creation. It's, I want to control God's creation. Pagan ideology is me putting man above everyone else. I am the God. Nimrod is 2/3 divine and 1/3 person. He is the divine king. He is your intermediary to the divine, to God. And when Abraham challenges, he's really mocking Nimrod. He says, well, you're worshiping water, you worship fire. Why don't you worship water? Water puts up fire. Every time Nimrod comes, he's mocking him with another thing. And Nimrod's had enough. He said, I am the most powerful being. If man is more powerful than wind, right? I am the most powerful. Everyone should be worshiping me. He says, there's no one more powerful than me than fire. We're going to throw you in the fire. Siva Nimrod ve'itliko kivshan shel esh shiv'a yamim ve'shiv'a lelot. Right? Nimrod commanded that his servants, they make a furnace and burn it, keep adding fuel to it for 7 days and 7 nights. Ve'pilo et Avraham letochon. They threw Avraham into this furnace. Ve'yarad malach ha'elohim ve'hesilo mitoch ha'esh. And an angel came down and rescued Avraham from the fire. But one of the where they learn this midrash from also comes from Ur Kasdim. Ur in Aramaic means fire. In the fire of Kasdim. The actual literal meaning of Ur Kasdim is a place where the two rivers meet, right? The Euphrates and the Hiddekel. That's where Ur Kasdim is. That's what Mesopotamia means, the two rivers. But they learn from Ur Kasdim, the word Ur, which in Aramaic actually means fire, this midrash, this beautiful midrash of Avraham's resistance to Nimrod, right? This divine, this half or 2/3 God, 2/3 human king, tyrant over the world. ונמרוד היה מושל על כל בני הארץ, and Nimrod was the sovereign over all of the land. ואמר להם, and he said to them, בואו ונבנה מגדל, let's build us a tower, ונעלה ראשו לשמיים, ונעשה עמו מלחמה. He says, we will raise the head of the tower to the heavens and wage war against God. רצו לשום חרב בראשו. They wanted to put a sword at the top of the tower, כאילו להילחם עם הקדוש ברוך הוא, as if to rebel and to fight God himself. So Nimrod, he controls the people, he controls everything, he subjects everyone to his will, and he throws Abraham into the fire. He controls the people's speech, and he controls people's thought. He controls everybody but one person, Abraham.
Still going on today.
Still going on today.
Right.
Absolutely.
No.
Still going on today. Try to dictate how we speak, right? בשעה שנפלה בלבול הלשונות, at that time where how do you call it, where the languages started to mix up, לא נבללה לשונו של אברהם. Abraham did not mix his language, right? Say he kept the language of Ever, right? והוא נקרא איש העברי. Okay, so and he's called the Hebrew man. Was the Hebrew? The Ivri means from Ever. Shaya Omed, but he says, what does that mean? Ever. Shaya Omed me'ever echad, v'chol ha'olam me'ever acher. He says that he stood on one side and the entire world stood on the other. Abraham was the rebel. What does it mean when Abraham says there is one God and there are no intermediaries? That is the essence of monotheism. What does that mean? It means nobody can tell me what to do. It says not Nimrod and not anybody can relay this divine message. No one can tell me what to think. Nobody can tell me how to speak. And this tyrannical approach to speech, right, is, we see it today. There's a great documentary, you've seen it, of Matt Walsh, What is a Woman?
Oh, it's insane.
Right, beautiful documentary. It's like, what is a woman? People say it's people who identify themselves as, what is that? It's like, I'm not a woman, I can't tell you, right? It says even like something as simple as male and female starts to get mixed up, and people can't retain the real meaning of words anymore.
1984.
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah, 2025. That word, the changing meaning of words, changing family structure.
Right? They start changing family structures, now turning into dispersion around making, the father of many nations. Many nations are coming out. Language is separating because people can't retain the original meaning of words. When we say that Abraham maintained the language of Ever, it means he didn't subject his canons of thinking, he didn't subject his language to that of the tyrannical Nimrod. He preserved language as he received by tradition from not from his father, but from his grandfather Ever, right? Because his father himself did go with the flow of his civilization. And we see in this first beautiful midrash of Abraham rebelling against his father. It says, Terach haya oseh selamim u'mcharam. Terach used to build statues and sell them. Pa'am achat yatsa lemakom acher. One time he went out, he went out for the day. Saram le Abraham beno limkor, and he left his son Abraham in charge of the store. באה אישה אחת והביאה קמח לפניהם. one woman came and she wanted to feed the statue. She brought flour before the idols. Kam Avraham v'natan makel uferak otan. Right? Abraham came and he took a stick and he destroyed all of the idols. V'natan hamakel beyad hagadol shebahem. And he put the stick, he left one, the biggest statue, and he put the stick in the hand of the biggest idol. כשחזר תרח אמר לו, מי עשה להם כך? His father comes back to the story, says, what happened? Who destroyed all the idols? אמר לו, אישה אחת באה, it says, a woman came, והביאה קמח, and she brought flour, ורבו זה עם זה, and they all fought with each other. ואמר הגדול, אני אוכל תחילה. And the biggest idol said, the biggest statue said, I'm going to eat first. ופרק אותם. And he broke up all the others. אמר לו, his father said, מה אתה משתה בי? He says, what are you trying to fool me? יודע אני שאין בהם רוח. Right? I know that they have no life, that they have no, they're inanimate. אמר לו, Abraham responded to him, ישמע נא אוזניך מה שפיך מדבר. He says, your ears should hear what your mouth is saying. Abraham is the rebel. And Abraham has no problem mocking the king, the emperor, standing up in front of him. He has no problem proving his father wrong, right? When his father is going with the flow, the fluid, let's change how we feel. Let's subject our speech and our thinking to that of Nimrod, right? Says the Rambam in Ilchot, Avodah Zarah, says, Kevan shehikin v'yada, says Abraham, he did not subject his thought to Nimrod. He did not change his language for Nimrod, right? He kept his tradition from Ever, from his grandfather, right? And he is using this logic that he has, this language that he has, this way of thinking, and he's now questioning everything that he's being told around him. And once he started to rationalize and understand things, he started to respond to all the people in Ur Kasdim. And he started to have debates with everybody in Ur Kasdim. He says, what you're believing, what you're saying isn't true. It's just false, right? We know what a man is. We know what a woman is. Don't try to mix us up. Shatem ulchim ba. V'shiber ha'seramim, and he destroyed the idols. V'itchil le'odiya la'am she'en ra'ui la'avod ela le'eloah ha'olam. Right? And he started telling everybody that the only one you should be worshiping is this invisible God of the world, meaning it's not Nimrod, right? Monotheism means that there is one God and it's not you. So don't tell me what to do. And only to him, not to the stars, not to the kings, not to the gods, right? Only this primary being, which is transcendent and out of our world, only to him you should be worshiping. This way, all of the next generations of people that come should know him. And we should get rid and destroy all of the idols. This way the people don't go falsely after them. Since he was so successful in persuading people and proving them, right? The king wanted to get rid of him. He wanted to kill him. So this is all described in the Midrash that we read before. A miracle happened, and he managed to flee to Haran. ולהתחיל לעמוד ולקרות בקול גדול לכל העם, and he started to stand and give speeches to call everyone else around him, ולהודיעם שיש אלוה אחד לכל העולם, and to tell them that there is only one God for the entire world. Right? And the kings aren't gods, right? The kings are themselves bound by God. ולא ראוי לעבוד, and only to him you should worship. והיה מהלך וקורא ומקבץ העם מעיר לעיר, and he would go and gather communities around him, go from city to city, ומממלכה לממלכה, and from state to state, עד שהגיע לארץ כנען, until he came to Canaan, והוא קורא, and he calls out, שנאמר, ויקרא שם, בשם אדוני, אל עולם. Right, let's change it to Basad. And he Lehorgo, yeah, to kill. Right, and he came to Eretz Canaan, and he's calling out to everyone to only worship the one God, not the king of your state, not the king of your city, not Saturn and not Jupiter, right? The one God that everyone else is bound to, right? And this rebellious nature of Abraham, this monotheistic idea that you can't tell me what to think, you can't tell me how to speak, right? I have freedom of speech, right? There is a law that binds the king himself too. He is not above the law, right? Meaning we need to be under a rule. Wait, y'all hear me? Okay, but if we're all bound by this rule of law, this is the monotheistic idea. It's not just about theology, it's not about religion. Its most practical application is in politics. And this is the source of anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is the attempt to shut that rebellion down. Whether it's Nimrod against Abraham, whether it's the Greeks, right? The Epiphanes coming, the enlightened one, and trying to tell us, right, that our thinking is old, it's primitive, right? Trying to shut us down. It's the Romans, it's the Christians, it's the Muslims, it's all these tyrannical regimes that come to assert their dominance over mankind when Abraham is saying, we are created in the image of God, we are free people, and we are going to resist your attempt to shut us down. And my book that I'm writing now comes to show how throughout all of history, all these attempts, first of all, they were a failure. But why were they such a failure? I said, our message is don't F with the Jews. All right? We embody a truth that no tyrant can silence. We embody courage that no empire can put down. And if God doesn't beat us to it, we're going to bring you to justice for trying to silence or trying to subject the free spirit of mankind.
Truth.
The truth will prevail.
No, but the true free spirit, because
Yeah.
you could commingle freedom with sorry.
All right.
So what was the meaning when he said?
Any questions?
Yeah, what was the meaning when he said? כדי שלא יטו בהם כל העם, כמו אלו שאין מדמין, שאין שם
מדמין.
אלוה, אלא אלו. מדמין, כן. So what's, like, they are gods for themselves? Does it mean?
So really the objective of paganism isn't to say that there is, how do you call it? Like, let's say you need to worship Jupiter. There's you need to worship Jupiter, but since you don't know how to speak to Jupiter, I'm the one that's going to tell you what Jupiter is saying, right? It's all about asserting one person on top. It's you can't access God. And what Judaism is saying is nobody can access God. Don't think that a king or someone who claims to be a prophet or any kind of priest has any kind of advantage over you in accessing God. It says, if he claims that he's a phony, don't believe him. By the way, what happened to the Tower of Babel? See, there's a picture there of something called a ziggurat. Right? The biggest one is in the city called Babylon. They found and managed to excavate a few of these ziggurats throughout Mesopotamia. The biggest one by far is the one in Babel or Babylon, and all that remains of it is just a floor plan. It is completely destroyed. Nimrod's legacy completely vanished and died. This great building that he created for let us have a name, right? Even his name is only remembered through a derogatory term preserved by his enemy, Nimrod. Let's rebel.
Also, there's a paradox between Nimrod and said, "I shall make my name everlasting," and Hashem said to Abraham, "Vagad lashmecha."
Yeah, very nice.
I will make
Beautiful,
your name.
beautiful, very nice.
Hashem is a bracha, but not you. You have to put yourself in the space of Hashem.
So what Nimrod is doing, he's trying to create a name for himself by fighting God. Right? Abraham is doing, he's calling out in the name of God, and God makes his name everlasting. By the way, everyone who lives in that area today, right, they're Abrahamic. They believe in the God of Abraham, whether they believe it the way we do or not, right? Nimrod's legacy has been completely wiped out. Only, 200 years ago, we discovered this epic that shaped all of Mesopotamian culture. We discovered it as an archaeological finding, and the only way we can actually make sense of it is by our narrative of what happened over there. All right,
Cool.
give you guys a little break.